What is going on, next level? Welcome to another video. My name is Mike Angelo, and today we are breaking it down on how to cut a kid's haircut, the easiest and most effective way to do it. If you're new to the channel, hit the like button, subscribe. If you're a new beginner barber or just wanting to learn how to cut hair, this is the channel for you as we break it down step by step. So hit the like button, subscribe. Let's jump right into this tutorial. The first thing we're doing in this tutorial is going to be working on top. So you want to make sure that you saturate the hair with water enough, that way you can see your guidelines and do more sections. For this tutorial, we're going to be using a traveling guideline. So what that is a guideline that travels from place to place. So in this case, we are starting right in the forehead, right in the hairline, taking off 1.5 inches, and then we're working our way back to the crown area. Every time we work our way back, we're going back 1/4 inch. You don't want to go more than 1/4 inch because you might lose that guideline. So what you do, you cut whatever length desired that you want or what they ask for. You move back 1/4 inch all the way until you reach that crown area. Once you reach that crown area, then you can move on the other side. Once that traveling guideline is set in the middle, then you work your way to either side. In this case, we are working on his right hand side. We are doing this as fast as we can because remember, we are doing a kid haircut. The kids, they don't want to sit down on the chair all day long while you section and precise cut. The first thing they do when they sit in the chair is, are we done yet? So you want to do this as fast as you can, right? So here we're working on his left hand side. You can see from my top of my finger on the fingernail, there's short hair. That is the traveling guideline that is set in the middle. So when I work my way to either side, I am looking for that traveling guideline that is going to indicate me where to cut. So make sure you look 1/4 inch backwards each time, that way you don't miss that guideline, and then you will get a precise haircut for a kid. After I'm done with both sides, then I like to comb it over. So we are doing a comb over on him. I just want to see that there's no harsh lines, and then if there is, then I have to go back in detail. So right now we are working with the crown. He has a really long crown right here. We're just gonna blend it in. So I grab a section and I'm connecting the shorter hair to the crown, and then I'm gonna comb it and use the growth pattern from the crown to create that comb over. Now that it's cut, I'm going to be combing through, make sure there's no hair sticking out, and I'm going to comb it using the growth pattern from the crown. Now that the top is finished, it's time to do some clipper work. Remember, we are doing a kid haircut, so we're doing these steps as fast as we can, and I'm gonna show you a trick, that way they don't move and fuss and cry. So the first thing we're doing is debulking. The first thing I want to do is make sure that the hair is even all around. So whatever I do on this side, I'm going to be doing the same thing, the same steps on the other side. In this case, we have the number 2 guard with the lever open, and I'm scooping the fade and connecting it to that longer crown hair that was on the back. I want to make sure that everything is even, and right before I do the guidelines, I can see it clearly. So do this step on both sides, and let's jump right into our next step, which will be setting our first initial bald guideline. So when you work with kids, you want to make it easier for you and easier for the kid. You want to finish this haircut as fast as you can. So our method today is going to be using the clipper with the lever closed. All the hair that you see in the bottom, do not remove it yet. We're going to be removing that towards the end. If you remove it first, it's going to be itchy, it's going to be uncomfortable for the kid. So that is when they start crying and fussing, they even want to fight you, you become their enemy. So to avoid all that stuff, just leave that hair there. Just leave it there and erase it towards the end. Eliminate all that fussiness towards the end. So leave it that hair right there and continue these steps. Our next step is going to be using a guideline. So we got the same clipper with the lever open this time. We're going up about 1 inch, and we are doing a drop, so just follow that guideline you did previously. Remember, when you set guidelines, they have to be neat. The more neater the guidelines, the better the fade is going to be. So whatever you do on this side, you do on the other side. Once you got that guideline set, you have to erase it. So we're gonna jump back down with the lever closed, and then we're working in sections. So from the temple to the ear, you open up a notch, and then you do the same step repetitively until that guideline is erased. And then we're going to be moving to our next section, which will be from the ear back down to the tip of the bone. Whenever it comes down to erasing guidelines, a tip that I can give you is to use half of the blade or the corner of the blade. You don't want to use the full blade because sometimes it can create another guideline within a guideline, so that involves more detailing. So make sure that you use the corner of the blade before you continue. Make sure it's completely erased. In our next steps, we are going to be using a fading down technique. So right now we have the 1.5 guard with the lever open, and we're going to fade right into the number 2 guard with the lever open. The reason why you want to do this is because when you do a kid haircut, you don't want to take your time setting all those guidelines and then eliminate them. So you want to work a little bit faster and fade down. Remember, the faster you are with kids, the more appreciative and the more stale they're going to be. So in this case right here, we have the 1.5 guard just literally fading right underneath that number 2, and then we're going to close it and fade underneath that 1.5. Once you're done with that step, we're going to repeat it using the number 1 guard. It's the same method. You start with the lever open, and then you're going to be closing it little by little until the lever is completely closed. This technique does take a little bit of practice, but don't worry guys, if you practice and practice, you will reach that level. It does take time. Good things always take time. You know, you have to keep practicing, keep that repetition going, especially with kids. Don't be afraid to try anything new with kids. The way you want to do this is just work more effectively, especially when you're in the shop and you have a busy barbershop. You want to do these cuts as fast as you can. So for example, in this haircut, it takes me like 15 to 20 minutes to complete, but that is because the way I'm cutting allows me to work a lot faster, allows me to work easier, and at the same time the client or the kid is not moving around because he is feeling uncomfortable. So work effectively. Practice makes perfect, guys. Do not give up and keep pushing. So we are doing a hair design in this haircut. In this point of doing this video, I don't know exactly what kind of design I'm doing, so I'm just kind of going with the flow, and we're gonna do a little freestyle. But before I do anything, I like to kind of pretend and see it, kind of draw it off with my finger. That's just something that I like to do, just to envision, just to see where I'm going to be placing lines and kind of to see how it's going to look. When I do hair designs, I like to use a trimmer as like if I were to be using a pencil. So literally I'm just drawing on hair. Whenever I do hair designs, I want to make sure that I catch the eye's attention. So I apply curves and straight lines all in my designs. As you can see, first I did a curve, I connected it with a straight line, and now I'm just gonna follow it up with another curve. Once you see where your hair design is going and you can envision how it's going to look, then you can go back and thicken out some of these lines. So you gotta apply a little bit of both. You have to do some curves and straight lines, and also some thin and thick lines. When you apply both of these steps, you will get a really smooth design. Once the hair design is done, then we have to fade around it. So we're gonna be connecting the dots right with the fade and design. So we got the half guard right here with the lever open, and we are literally going to fade underneath that hair design. The reason why we kept it this way is that whatever is underneath the design, we're gonna fade it out, and it's just gonna make the design pop out even more. On the other side of the haircut, it's the exact same steps, except you didn't add a design. So when you do the other side of the haircut, you do the same steps. Instead of putting that design, just go ahead and use that half guard to eliminate those guidelines. I really hope you guys are enjoying this video. Do me a solid and smash that like button. That way we can get in the algorithm and let's keep pushing more content. Alright, let's get back to this video. So I'm just gonna be detailing right here, and we're gonna follow it up using clipper over comb. So we did use a 2 guard with the lever open. That is the perfect length to connect the fade to the top. So I got the clipper over comb, and then we just connect both sides. Whatever you do on this side, you do on the other side. As you can see, the crown area is not flopping over anymore. We connected it right in the beginning with the scissors, and now we're finishing it off with the clipper over comb. Now we are going to be lining up the client, which is my little guy right here. He is looking pretty fresh. So I use a hair grip from Motive. I put it around his hairline. You want to make sure that whenever you apply this, if you have one, comb the hair down. That way you can get a really sharp line. If you don't have these hair grips, you can also use just a clip, just to get the hair away from the hairline. It creates a open space so where you can work more, envision everything and see exactly where you're working. So whenever I do the hairline, I always start right in the middle of his forehead, and then I work on either direction. So in this case, I am working towards his left, and I try to make it as natural as possible. Try not to push your client back, you know, especially if they're kids. Usually kids, if they have straight hair, they like to always comb their hair to the sides. So a sharp lineup will make them look so fresh. So take your time with this, you know. We are finishing up the haircut, so make sure it's the details is what matters. So make sure you get all the details, take your time, make sure it's looking fresh. So literally right here, this is my last step towards the fade, or for the haircut. I am eliminating finally all the hair that is underneath. The reason why I kept this towards the end is because if I were to do this step in the beginning, all that hair, that longer hair, would be all over their necks and they would be so uncomfortable. So I always like to do that step last. And just to finish it off and make their day, I always like to spray a little bit of hairspray with some color. This just makes them smile, you know, so they love it. Apply it like a surprise. I always like to do this. I surprise them with a little bit of hair color on top, and these are your results, guys. If you follow these step-by-steps, you will get these results. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and definitely learned something from it. My name is Mike Angelo. I'm here to take you guys to the next level. If you guys like this content, hit the like button, smash the like button, and subscribe. I'm gonna link a video right here on the corner of your screen if you guys want to watch this video and learn how to cut the top. I will see you guys on that video. My name is Mike Angelo. I will see you there.